And there's been some controversy that has come out since the release. So first off, it has been unearthed that Kevin Smith may or may not have lied. Hello, nerds. We're rushing to get this done, so I'm just going to remind you to subscribe if you haven't already. We've got a bunch of stuff going on. I will save the rest of it for the housekeeping that is going to happen right after this intro. That's right, nerds. It is another episode of Your Nerd News. Housekeeping-wise, again, those of you watching can see that things are progressing, so it's awesome. Aside from that, really not a whole lot to talk about. It does seem that at the end of this month, there will be, that last week of the month will likely be either one episode or no episodes, because I will be working on other projects that, quite honestly, pay me better. So that potentially is going to happen. At the very least, it will just be a single episode for the last week of this month. All of that being said, that's all I have for housekeeping. So let's jump into the news. Starting things off with the music section. So music is one of the biggest sections for this episode. Again, this new structure for this section is really helping out. So we do have one follow-up. I was uncertain of a thing in the tour's last episode, so I clarified it real quick. POD, the satellite record that they are on tour, the 20th anniversary tour for, is the record that did have Youth of a Nation. It is not the Southtown record. The name of that record is Fundamental Elements of Southtown. That was the one POD record I owned back forever ago, so my apologies that I forgot which one was which. But Satellite is the one that made them blow up, even though wasn't my favorite. Anyway, so that's the correction for this episode. We do have one piece of regular news, and that has to do with Shawn Crahan, the clown from Slipknot, is producing more solo music and art. This technically is video announcements, but it's single announcements and a solo project announcement, kind of all rolled into one. So that's why it's getting in the regular news section. But you can follow the links down in the description. You can see the two videos that he just put out for two songs. The first song is Brainwashed Love, Dead Inside, and the second song is called Live Your Life. I haven't listened to them. Again, things that are going on the list of reaction videos. I just need to do a giant thing of reaction videos one of these days. So new Crahan music. His previous efforts have been kind of hit and miss, so I don't know where this one's going to land, but we will figure that out together in the reaction videos. Then we're moving over to other new video announcements. New videos released since we last spoke. We have a Mr. Bungle video for Erasist, which again is a song off of the re-recorded version of their demo record that doesn't have whatever. It's Mr. Bungle. It's going to be great. Times of Grace have released the second record off of their most recent outing, their most recent record. The name of the record is Songs of Loss and Separation, which is not out just yet, even though this is the second single released from that record. The record releases on July 16th. The newest song that they have released a video for is a track called Medusa, which is apparently one of the heavier songs on the record, but again, reaction videos. All right, so our next new music video comes from Billy Gibbons, the king of the rock and roll blues himself. Well, maybe not the king, but one of the best living rock and roll blues players out there. His new solo record is doing very well. He has released a new video for the song She's on Fire. Again, link down in the description. And then our final video announcement comes from the world of pop. That's right, Lorde. Do you remember her? Kind of one of the more bright and shining stars of the pop world as of recently, has released a new single called Solar Power, rather. No announcement as to if this is going to be attached to a record. No announcement as to whether or not this is, anything beyond just this one single. Either way, it is a new Lorde single. This one I did listen to, because with all of the other reaction videos I have to do, this one is not likely to get done, so I just listened to the dang song. song, and it's pretty good. Pretty solid pop track, just like everything else she's put out up until this point. So go check it out. That's what we have for videos. And then we have a couple of tours that have been announced since we last spoke. First off, we have Devin Townsend, who is releasing a new record that he is then going to tour in support of. The name of the record is Lightwork, and therefore the name of the tour is Lightwork Tour 2022. He is putting out another record between now and then. It is just an EP. It's not a major label release. It's just something he's putting out on his own imprint. Lightwork, though, is going to be major label release, and he is right now he's only scheduled to be touring Europe. The tour starts in April of 2022, April 13th to be specific, in Dublin, Ireland at Olympia. I don't know how Ireland is divided or whatever, but it's labeled as Ireland, Dublin, Olympia. So sorry that I am ignorant to how that geography works over there in Ireland, but if you know, then you know, and there it is. Next, we're talking about Meshuggah. This is actually an announcement of a postponed tour. So we talked previously about the fact that Meshuggah is supposed to be going on tour now that COVID restrictions are lifting kind of in some areas. Well, not enough and not in enough areas for their liking. So what they have done is they have rescheduled the exact same tour. I mean, the exact same places, not the same dates, for a year back. So it's going to be 2022. They have added a couple of shows, and again, it's all in freaking Europe. But this one, they are starting the tour May 5th of 2022 in Hamburg, Germany. And then our final piece of news comes from Black Label Society. Black Label Society is going on tour with Obituary and Prong. The first date of that tour, it's going to be a North American tour. First date of that tour is October 1st of this year, and it will be in Sacramento, California. So there you go, nerds. All of the music news worth talking about. So, we're going to talk real quick about gaming and tech. We did just have the game. Because I take wonderful notes, I don't remember the exact name of the festival thing that just happened, but E3 is right around the corner, so we're about to get inundated with a bunch more stuff there as well. But we did have Game Fest something. Announced a whole bunch of things, so we have a lot of trailers to touch base on. First, we have the Battlefield 2042 trailer. Looks like a great Battlefield game. Like, this is, if I were to start playing war simulators, then this would probably be where I would start. I don't, generally speaking, don't do the war sims. I just do, fantasy and science fiction when it comes to war things. So Halo is my bag, and not so much Call of Duty or Battlefield. But you can go see the trailer if you follow the link in the description. The launch date for this game is October 22nd, and it is noteworthy that it is going to be coming out on current and next-gen consoles all across the board. So, moving right along, we have another trailer to talk about from The Evil Dead, the game. This does definitely feature the voice of Bruce Campbell, so the rumors of his retirement were overstated, perhaps, or just this is his last project. It's a real big gray area, but we know he's not coming to Mortal Kombat because he was doing this, presumably. So the release date for this one has not been made known just yet, but you can watch the gameplay trailer down in the description. It's also pretty freaking awesome. Next, we have probably the biggest announcement in this section, and it is Elden freaking Ring. George R.R. Martin and Hirazaki, the guy that gave us all of the Dead Souls and all of those games. Those two have teamed up. We've talked about this previously. Those two have teamed up for a new game. We haven't really heard a lot in the last year, and then bam, gameplay trailer, and then bam, announcement that it's going to be coming out in January of next year. So we've got approximately 8 months before we actually get our hands on this game. The trailer is bonkers. I haven't watched it in its entirety because I think I'm trying to reserve this one for a reaction as well, but I did catch the very end of it the other day, or yesterday, and as I'm filming this, and it was nuts. All right, so our final new game trailer is a very, very quickie from Mr. Hideo Kojima himself, and that is for the Death Stranding Director's Cut. No release date for this one has been made known just yet either, but it is very Metal Gear-ish. You'll see what I mean when you follow the link down in the description, but yeah, that's a thing. It's coming out, and I'm really anxious to see what Hideo can do to extend the life of this game. That is what we have for new game trailers. We have one piece in proper news, and that is The Simpsons. The arcade from 1991 is coming back. 1UP Arcade is releasing a version of their console, I guess you could call it. They're releasing the board, their version of the board, in the smaller, compact version that they've been releasing everything else in. It is coming with one other game. That game has not been announced, but it will be hitting stores July 15th, and once it is available, obviously we'll know what the second game is, but they have said they will not announce the second game until it actually launches. So that is what we have for gaming and tech nerds. Comic books is short once again. It was almost non-existent for this episode, but I found something because I was digging. I've been digging since last night and up until just about a couple hours ago, and lunch and then this. So we do have a new announcement from DC. They are doing a spin-off book. This time it is a spin-off from an animated series that they have, the Harley Quinn animated series that is on HBO Max, which is actually surprisingly good. Is getting a spin-off comic book. It's called The Eat, Bang, Kill Tour, featuring obviously Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, continuing their game from the series. If you haven't watched the first two seasons before season 3 launches, you should probably do that. I know I'm not the biggest Harley Quinn advocate ever at all, because I don't think it's, generally speaking, she's a very strong character, but in this series, that is one thing that goes against that opinion that I have. So yes, it is definitely something to pick up once it hits shelves. It will be in stores on September 14th. It is a limited run series. It's only going to be 6 issues, and writer is T. Franklin and artist is Max Sarin. Not super familiar with either of their work, but hopefully they will keep in the spirit of the animated series, and that is all we have for comic books. Okay, so TV streaming is really mostly follow-ups and corrections. I have a bunch of follow-ups and 2 corrections, and then we've got a couple of things to talk about in news, but nothing crazy. So let's start off with follow-ups. We got the first trailer for He-Man Masters of the Universe Revelations, the Netflix animated series show ran by Kevin Smith, and there's been some controversy that has come out since the release. So first off, it has been unearthed that Kevin Smith may or may not have lied about his Masters of the Universe fandom, because back in 2013, he tweeted something along the lines of, "Never been a huge Masters of the Universe fan, but go check out this art display." I'm paraphrasing, but that is basically what the text said. And then when he got the gig to showrun this, he's all about the Motu, and he's all about He-Man and all of this and all of that. And then the other thing that he may or may not have been a little disingenuous about is the direction of the series. So judging by this trailer that they have released, as well as the synopsis that Netflix has recently released, sorry, that's a lot of weird words. It seems that early rumors saying that Teela was going to be the focus of this series and not He-Man were correct. Judging by what we see in the trailer, it's a little more evident in the first half of the trailer, and then they have that weird reveal halfway through. Go click the link and watch it, but it's a little weird there. But then also, the synopsis doesn't really mention Adam or He-Man necessarily. It mentions Skeletor, mentions Teela, and how Teela is going to be the one that saves everything. So very peculiar. It sounds, and this is just me parsing things together, it sounds like the first half of the series is going to focus a lot on Adam and the Sword of Power and Skeletor trying to get his hands on it. Something seems to happen to Adam halfway through the series, and Teela has to come through and save the day because Skeletor somehow gets the Sword of Power. I I hope I'm wrong, but it seems like that's what's lining up. That's all we've got right now. Anything beyond that is even more speculation, so we're moving on. Our next follow-up has to do with Andor. This one's actually pretty cool. Forrest Whitaker is coming back as Saw Gerrera. Well, Saw Gerrera is coming back. I did not see an official announcement that said Forrest Whitaker would be playing him. It is presumed that he will be playing him, but again, no official announcement just yet. The character, though, officially will be back for the Andor series. Our next follow-up has to do with Resident Evil. They did some casting announcements for the rest of the primary cast. We already know Lance Reddick will be playing Albert Wesker. And then we also have Ella I'm sorry about the mispronunciation of these names, but Ella Balinska, Tamara Smart, Sienna Gudong, Adela Rudolph, and Paulo Nunez. Most of those were presumably going to be playing Albert Wesker's children, because we do know that this series is focusing on Wesker and his kids. Though, judging by the pictures of the cast all together and doing things, it seems that maybe some of those are going to be our main protagonists, even though the series is about Wesker. Wesker is a bad guy, and so on and so forth. So, they haven't announced exactly who any of them are going to be, except for, obviously, the guy playing Wesker. What's his name? Reddick. There we go. So we will be keeping tabs. We're moving on. Next, we're talking about The Flash, and this is our first correction of the episode. I did say in, I think it was the last episode, it might have been the episode previous, how The Flash has gone beyond Arrow, so it should be called The Flash Universe. I misspoke. Assuming that Season 8 is the last of The Flash, then it will have run as long as Arrow. So shout-outs to the guys over at the Brightside Chat, who are part of the Nerdy Legion podcast network that I am also a part of. Those guys are the ones that sent me over the correction, so thank you very much, gentlemen. You didn't sign it with who it was specifically, so I can't call you out by name, but either way, there it is. And then our other correction is really just a silly brain fart that I had in the last episode. Cowboy Bebop, John Cho is playing Spike. Ryan or Brian? Where did I get Ryan Cho? I don't even know. But yeah, John Cho, moving on. Proper news now. We have a new Castlevania series coming to Netflix. Another animated series that is going to be a spin-off of the previous series that just came to an end. And this one is going to revolve, as this is as much detail as they made in the announcement. This series is going to revolve around characters who were made popular in Symphony of the Night and Rondo of Blood. So yes, please, a little bit more. Thank you. And then our final piece has to do with Ted, the rated R comedy movie about a talking stuffed animal. That's right. Ted, from the mind of Seth MacFarlane, is getting a series over on Paramount. I'm sorry, not Paramount, Peacock. Peacock is ordered straight to series, a prequel, rather, series for Ted. So probably not going to see Mila Kunis or Mark Wahlberg in this because it's a prequel. We're probably going to get a younger version of our main character, John, which means all of the rest of that can still hold up and we won't have this weird disconnect. Anyway, so yeah, Ted coming to Peacock. That is the end of TV streaming, nerds. Okay, running short on time, but I don't have a whole lot left. So in movies, real quick, we have two follow-ups. First is Aquaman 2, finally got a subtitle as Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. That has been announced. Our second is a trailer for the new Fear Street trilogy of movies coming to Netflix. Go watch it because R.L. Stine made my youth, majority of my youth, pretty awesome and scary. So yes, please, and thank you. And then our one piece of actual news for this section has to do with The Lord of the Rings. We're in movies. What the heck? Lord of the Rings is getting a new animated series, as announced by Warner Brothers just recently. It's going to be called The War of Rohirrim. I know I'm going to get some Lord of the Rings nerds out there who are telling me I'm pronouncing it wrong, and I apologize. It's going to focus on the Third Age, the tale of Helm Hammerhand, the King of Rohan. Again, all we know right now, aside from the fact that it's going to be animated, I don't know if I mentioned that at the beginning of it, but that is where that sits. So now we're moving right along. And it's rumor time, baby. All right, rumor mill is short. I'm digging real hard, I promise. So rumor mill, we have First rumor has also to do with the new Flash movie. This one is that Cyborg, Ray Fisher, is going to be recast for this movie. This one should come as no surprise. If Cyborg is in this movie, it kind of stands to reason they wouldn't use Ray Fisher because of all of the nonsense and the drama and the things and the stuff. So, yeah, this one holds some water. I can't say that we know that Cyborg is going to be in this. He did seem to play a pretty big part in the Snyder cut, but like that's probably not going to really factor into this. So likelihood here, I can't go above 50%. There's just way too many variables in this. Aside from the fact that we know that Warner Brothers doesn't like Ray Fisher, I just don't think that Cyborg is really going to factor into this story. So it's kind of a moot point. Our next rumor has to do with the Joker 2. This one's pretty interesting. This rumor says that Joker 2 is going to be based on the Three Jokers story arc that came out not that long ago on the DC Black label. Three Jokers was a great book, but it's way too early to speculate. Maybe that's one of the things they're considering, but like to say definitively, this is what's going to happen, it's way too early to call that. So likelihood that that's the case, honestly, likelihood that that's the case, even in the long run, is pretty slim, even though it's a great thought. So I'm putting this one, I'm going to kick this down to about 20% likelihood that this is the direction they're going. Our next piece actually is a really, really old movie, technically. It's Nosferatu. There's kind of two rumors here. A, that Nosferatu is getting a reboot of sorts or another version. And B, that they're looking at Robert freaking Pattinson to play the Nosferatu. Likelihood that we're getting a Nosferatu pretty strong. I think that's, this Halloween season, maybe next Halloween season, it sees the light of day. Yeah, that makes sense. Probably like 65% likelihood that that's somewhere in the works, somewhere in Hollywood. Robert Pattinson as the titular creature, who as his last foray into the vampire universe was not the greatest. I'm putting that at about 10%, and I think that's being generous. Moving on to our final rumor. It's actually a video game rumor, and that is based on the Mario and Rabbids game that we got just, I believe it was about a year and a half ago, a little while before COVID hit. We now are getting a sequel, according to the rumor. There wasn't much more detail to it than that, so we can't really say one way or the other. It did do pretty well, both very popular franchises, so no reason why it should be super low. So we're going to put this one at 50% because it could really go either way. And that is the end of the Rumor Mill, nerds. Also, the end of the episode. What did I miss? What should we talk about in the next one? Let me know in the comments down below. If, though, you want to go deeper into the conversation, jump over to the website, generallynerdy.net. YouTube.com/generallynerdy is where you're probably watching this. If you're not, then go do that. Find me on all the social medias. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all of the things. Smash the like button. All of that stuff. Thank you very much, nerds. Before I head out, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.